and
Oddworld.
Hey oddballs, I'm your host Jensen, and welcome to episode 139. 139 and feeling fine. I cannot not do it. I'm sure I have on an episode that ends in 9, but I can't help myself. But anyhow, I think what I'm going to start doing is maybe every other episode, I'm going to share from How to Be a Psychic, because I really like this book and it's starting to dive a little deeper into your third eye. And then just it's kind of just to connect with yourself type of thing, which I think is fantastic. And I feel like there's nothing wrong with that. Getting to know yourself, connecting with yourself. I mean, that doesn't sound bad, does it? But anyhow, I think I'm going to try to do every other episode and read from this book because I just want to read it to you guys. I think it's great. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And I just want you guys to hear it and take something from it. But I also still want to read birthdays because I think that's fun. So maybe every other one I can start the How to Be a Psychic. Anyhow, let's go ahead and dive into it. And really, this is just going to be an overview of entering a state of focus. So here we go. It's lesson time. Today's psychic lesson is entering a state of focus. When your conscious mind's ability to think clearly is interrupted, you enter an altered state of focus. All people, whether they know it or not, go in and out of this state many times a day. When there, your critical reasoning is pushed aside. The power of suggestion, whether it's by your unconscious mind or by someone else, takes control of your thought process. You can be guided or induced into a trance in several different ways. The trigger can come either through external stimuli, if, for instance, you were to enter a specific location, or through internal stimuli, such as thoughts or feelings. Trances can be positive or negative, and they can continue to influence you long after your initial experience. You can remain in a trance state for a few minutes or for days. The state will continue until something interrupts it. Once you recognize the trance state, you have a choice of remaining in it or not. An altered state of consciousness occurs when a person is not necessarily aware of what he or she is experiencing. The conscious mind is not involved in making critical decisions. The person in a deep state may have no knowledge of external events. So I thoroughly enjoy this, like I've said before, and I hope that you guys are enjoying it as well, because if you're listening to this podcast, then surely you're open to this. But let's go ahead and move on to stories. Also, there is a mention of suicide in this first story, so feel free to skip ahead to 10:45.
This comes from apprehensive-leg8938 on Reddit.
Since I was young, I've been afraid to stay alone, and in the dark, I often feel like someone is watching me. But nobody else in my family has this problem or believes in spirits. When I was born, my parents moved to a new rented house, and we stayed there for 1 year. During that time, I was very ill for almost the entire year, according to my mom. Later, my parents found out that the previous tenants had a family issue, and the wife had committed suicide by setting herself on fire. When I was 17, I asked my mom about my reoccurring dreams, where I was in a house that people would lock and set on fire. Then she told me this story about the incident in the rented house, and I was shocked because my dreams were very similar to what actually happened. In 2011, my dad's brother's daughter, who is physically handicapped, passed away at the age of 18. The doctors had already mentioned that her lifespan would be short. My dad mentioned that the night of her death, I talked to her in my sleep, indicating how close she was to me. In 2011 or 12, I started having nightmares, most often involving someone taking over my body or troubling me during sleep paralysis. Sometimes it felt like someone was sitting on my chest or walking around. these occurrences happen once or twice every 6 months, so I would usually ignore them. In 2022, while studying law, I faced the possibility of a year back due to strict guidelines. When the college said it wasn't possible to avoid the year back, I lost hope. However, I recalled my relatives discussing that praying at my sister's grave could solve problems. As a last hope, I prayed with dedication, promising to visit her grave even though I never went inside since it was always closed. The next day, the year back system was removed, and I felt it was coincidence. Later, I prayed with dedication for my brother to go abroad, and within a week, he did. Whenever I prayed with dedication, it seemed to work. However, in the past few months, I've been struggling to sleep. I often wake up between midnight and 2 to 3:27 a.m., feeling a strong negative energy. My whole family is in a deep sleep, and I frequently have dreams of snakes, possession, or someone staring at me. I also get small injuries or scratches that I don't remember happening. A couple of weeks back, I woke up at 2:15 a.m., felt negative energy, and left my room. Everyone was in a deep sleep, and no one was using their phone. I sat in the hall, scrolled through a few reels, and thought of sleeping at 3 to 4 a.m. I decided to meditate, but suddenly heard a scary noise 30 to 40 seconds in my right ear, which caused me to panic. I checked my phone, which was on silent, and my family was still asleep with their phones off. I felt it was a paranormal experience. Since then, I have not been able to sleep at night, and now sleep between 4 to 5 a.m. I can't tell my family because they won't believe me. I think I may have invited a spirit. So I think this person has some kind of abilities. The fact that they were sick for almost a year as a newborn in a house where there was a horrific death makes me wonder if this spirit was bothering this person as a baby and that is why they were sick. But then we jump to 17 years later, which that's a huge jump. So if there was anything that happened in between there and you just left that out, oh my gosh, I want to know, were there any imaginary friends or anything like that? Because I really feel like I'm missing a chunk of the story. But anyhow, 17 years later, they're having reoccurring dreams that they're in a house and people would lock the door and set it on fire. Like, that's really weird, right? That's really weird. But I think the one that really is the most weird to me is the fact that their cousin passed away. And the same year or year after maybe, they're having nightmares of someone trying to take over their body. Now, I'm not going to say that this is malicious or not, because I don't know. But this is my personal opinion. And I think that their cousin who was handicapped was potentially trying to take over their body. And the only reason why I think that is because if they had a dream of them talking to their cousin in their sleep, saying how close she was, I'm wondering if this cousin was trying to take advantage of the fact that this person can walk and they were handicapped in life, so put 2 and 2 together. Now, on one hand, it really breaks my heart. On the other hand, it's like, that's scary. That's really scary. I don't know. That's the takeaway that I get from that. And I'm probably stretching it. I don't know. I'm just going off of what this story is telling me. So then we jump to 2022 and they start praying. And I don't know if maybe because they have a gift, because of all the praying that they're doing, it's kind of like light in a sense. And if this person really does have some kind of gift, whatever is, I don't know, attached to them or in the house or what have you, doesn't like that. They don't like that. And so maybe this is why you have the negative energy. This one I'm struggling to figure out what the dreams of snakes possession or someone staring at them is and the injuries. Because like surely they're not inviting a spirit, right? Because I know that like with some witchcraft, you put a spell out there and depending on how crazy it is, you could not get it back, but I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but it comes back to you, like you're wanting something positive and something negative comes back, which that's not all the case and everything. And I understand that, but this is kind of how that feels. This person is praying for something good to happen and then they catch the shit end of the stick because they want something. So they have to have something negative in return. And I hope that makes sense, because that's really the only thought in my head that I have for this one, because it's just really scary. It's scary that they can't sleep and they're having these awful dreams. And I really do think that this person has some kind of a gift. What it is, I don't know. But if any of you have any ideas to help this person or give them some possible answers, that would be fantastic. And we're going to go ahead and move on to the next story.
This comes from anti-social-alien on Reddit.
Last night, my girlfriend and I were hanging out in separate rooms. I was in the living room watching WWE on Netflix, and she was in the other room drawing on her iPad. I was starting to pass out in my chair, and she came to check up on me and told me to come to bed. So I said, yeah, I'll be there in a minute. I decided to watch for another 10 minutes before I came in. And 5 minutes later, she asks, Did you go into the bathroom? I replied with, No, I've been sitting here since you came out. She responds with, I just saw you walk into the bathroom. Once again, I reiterated I didn't get up. So she explained to me. I was standing in front of the bed, and I couldn't tell at first, but I saw someone walking. Like how you do when you're all sore, and I saw your forehead, nose, and skin under your eyes, and the rest of you was dark. Then you walked into the bathroom, but you didn't turn the lights on or close the door. So after 30 seconds, I walked in and you weren't in there. I even heard your heavy footsteps. This is where I got freaked out. What else is weird is with the TV on and the door open, the TV light hits the closet door, so she would have been able to see a whole body, not just parts of a face. We do occasionally dabble in witchcraft, but not dark arts. Mainly white and gray magic. We do not summon or communicate with dark powers. What's interesting is that apparently the planets were in alignment last night. Possible amplified energies? The way my hallway works is you go from the living room. There's about 10 to 12 foot of hallway, and then there's a closet at the end. At the closet, you have to do a very short right, then left turn. When you turn right, there's the second bedroom. Right beside that door, the left is our bedroom, 6 inches between the door frames of the rooms. And directly in front of the bedroom is the closet. To the right of the bedroom, immediately is the bathroom. I don't know what your opinion is. We were supposed to sage last night, but the sage mysteriously went missing as well. Little update. My girlfriend actually said just now that apparently she saw me walk around the corner, stop for a second, and then walk into the bathroom while being able to see my face for that second. Ew. Also, I've probably said it a million times by now, and I'm sure you're probably sick of hearing it, but I forgot this story was talking about witchcraft at some point, and it's not like it's weird that I was saying witchcraft beforehand, before this story, but it's weird. It's weird that most of my episodes flow together unintentionally, because I just read through these stories, pick them at random, put them together, boom, there we go. But that's besides the point. I'm just a little weirded out, but that's besides the point. The point is, what the hell did this person's girlfriend see? That's the point. What did they see? Because that would scare the shit out of me if I saw my husband walk into our bathroom. Well, God, especially our bathroom. That means they would have had to walk all the way through our bedroom to the bathroom. But either way, if I saw my husband walk anywhere, and guess what? He wasn't there. Then yeah, I'd probably freak the hell out, especially with how much detail there was. They saw their forehead, nose, skin under their eyes, and the way that this thing was walking. I have chills because it's disgusting. And there have been a lot of stories of mimics lately. And I say lately, but within the past 5 years or so. But I will say, I wonder if it's like a parallel universe type of thing, because I really have never put a lot of thought into it until after I read David from Down the Rabbit Hole's story. Oh God, way back when. And literally got my brain thinking about parallel universes, and then it freaked me out because quite honestly that is so much for my brain to handle, and I don't like that. I'm just now coming to grips with aliens, so a parallel universe really does scare me for whatever reason. But anyhow, what if all these mimics that people are hearing aren't actually, I don't know, a mimic? Which I'm not going to say in all cases that that's the truth, but something like this where it's a full-bodied figure. What if there is some kind of parallel universe and you caught a glimpse of that because all of the planets were in line too? So, I don't know, I'm really stretching here, but what if it was something like that? What if? Or what if it was a ghost literally mimicking you? I don't know. That's scary too. That's just as scary. The fact that a ghost can take on the full shape of somebody that you know and can look like somebody that you know who is still living, by the way. I don't like that. That's honestly disgusting. It's just as disgusting as the thought of a parallel universe, but whatever. But anyhow, I'm really curious as to what you guys think. I kind of went on a little stretch of things today because I don't know, that's just where my brain is. And if you have any comments for either story, let me know. If you have a paranormal story like either story today, let me know as well. And I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And well, it's an odd world after all. Oddballs, thank you for listening. And if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to leave 5 stars or thumbs up on whatever podcast platform you listen on. If you have any comments for this episode, comment below or head over to Instagram and comment on this episode's preview. To submit a story or for more information, go to itsanoddworldafterall.com.